Farmstead, Part 9 of The Raven, Revenge and the Reckoning. The porch was slick with rain when I stepped up out of the mud. Thunder low in the hills, the kind of cold that crawled under your coat and settled in your bones. I looked back to where I'd come from. Buck was hitched to a post, rain sliding off his hide in sheets. He looked miserable. I raised a hand and knocked twice. A moment passed, then the door creaked open. "For God's sake," she said, standing in the warm light, apron tied, hair pulled back in a twist. "Get in out of the weather." "I got my horse," I said, stepping back. She pointed down the side yard. "Stable's out back. There's a dry stall. Hay's good and dry, too. Go on, I'll wait." I gave a nod, turned, and led Bud Buck around the back. He whinnied at the smell of fresh hay and stepped right in without a fuss. I rubbed him down quick, opened the big box stall door, threw in a couple chunks of hay, and checked the water bucket. He'd earned a rest. By the time I made it back to the house, I was soaked through again. She opened the door without a word. "Take off those wet things," she said, sharp, but not unkind. "My late husband left some clothes. Should fit you. They're in the wash house. You can change out there." I nodded, boots squelching on the wood floor as I passed through. The wash house smelled like soap and cedar. I hung my wet coat by the door and peeled off the rest, steam rising off my skin in the lantern glow. The room was simple. Wood walls, a basin, a cracked mirror, a low shelf lined with jars and folded cloth. A child's drawing was tacked to the far wall. A house, a woman and a girl, stick thin and smiling. I ran a towel through my hair, then opened the chest she'd pointed to. Her husband's clothes were clean, folded tight, worn soft by time. I found a flannel shirt, a pair of trousers close enough to my size, and pulled them on. They smelled faintly of wood smoke. As I buttoned the shirt, I paused, hand resting on the collar, staring at the little room around me. Funny how a place can carry peace without trying. Just warmth, stillness, and the kind of quiet that don't ask questions. Mirror on the wall, I found a brush, dragged it through my hair, then washed my face and hands. Found a dry pair of socks, and pulled them on. I stepped back into the house in my stocking feet, boots in hand. The smell hit first. Cornbread, beans, something frying slow in the skillet. The kitchen was lit low. She stood at the stove, sleeves rolled, hair slightly damp from the rain. A girl sat at the table, young, maybe 14, dark hair in braids, chin resting on one hand as she turned a page in a worn book. The woman looked up and smiled, soft but not uncertain. "They fit all right?" "Good enough," I said. "Thank you again." She nodded toward the table. "You're welcome to sit. Supper's nearly done." The girl glanced up, eyes sharp but curious. "I'm Mara," the woman said. "And this here's Lottie?" The girl gave a small nod. "Hi." I set my boots near the door, then pulled out the chair nearest the corner. "Killian," I said quietly, like nothing had happened. But I felt her watching me in the space between her glances. Mara served us plates, beans, fried potatoes, a thick wedge of cornbread. I ate slow, the food simple but real. I hadn't tasted anything in weeks, just chewed for fuel. This sat right. "You been riding long?" Mara asked. "A while." "Headed somewhere?" "Been riding to the southeast." She nodded like that was enough. "No suspicion, no probing. You can sleep in the loft above the wash house," she said. "It's dry, bit dusty, but the roof holds. Should be a blanket or two in the chest." "Thank you," I said again. A few minutes passed in silence. Then Lottie looked up, studied me, and said, "You talk like someone who's been quiet a long time." I blinked, didn't answer. She went back to her cornbread. After a while, I said, "Buck's my horse. Had him since he was 5. Bought him a year before Julie died. I seen you had a remuda in the corral. Any possibility you'd be up for trading a horse?" "Buck's 12 years old, still strong, but I've been riding him hard, and he deserves a break." Neither of them spoke. "He gives pressure good. You can ride him without a bridle in a pinch. He'll lie down. Something we used to do on the prairie if we needed cover. And he's gentle, gentle enough for a girl to ride." Lottie perked up. "I wish I had a horse of my own. The ones we got, they're wild. Came in off the range 4 years old. The Wrangler put about 6 or 8 saddles on them, and they haven't been ridden since Pa died." I looked at her, then nodded slowly. "Buck's getting older, still got a few years left in him, but I've been thinking it's time I find something younger. Tomorrow, if you want, you can ride him. See if you like him." She brightened. "You trade, maybe," I said. "You ride him first? You'll know." Mara said nothing, just watched me a little too long before she stood to clear the table. After supper, she handed me a lantern and nodded toward the wash house. "Loft's yours for the night." "Appreciate it." Lottie stood with her arms crossed, barefoot on the wood floor. "Come by in the morning," I said. If you want to ride him. She nodded. Okay. The air outside was cool and damp. Crickets had started up again, the rain done for now. The ladder to the loft groaned under my weight. I found the trunk, pulled out a blanket, and laid back on the boards with my coat under my head. Outside, the wind moved soft through the trees, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel the need to sleep with one eye open. I stretched out under the rafters, blanket pulled up over my chest. The floor creaked when I shifted, the old boards sighing like they remembered more than they ought to. Somewhere outside, an owl called once. Then I closed my eyes, and just like that, I was back there again. It was hot that day, summer dust rolling in waves off the ground. The kind of heat that made the hills shimmer and the flies lazy. I was standing near the fence line, hat pulled low, watching the bay circle the pen. Strong legs, clean eyes, black mane and tail, sharp contrast against the red-brown hide. He was 5 then, newly broke, still full of piss and vinegar. I liked him. He's a looker, the rancher said, leaning on the rail beside me. Hard-headed, though. Ain't gonna be a pushover. That's all right, I said. Neither am I. I handed over the bills. Probably should have used for something else. But I didn't care. That was the first time I saw Julie come out of the house in bare feet. She crossed the yard slow, wiping her hands on a dish towel, hair loose, sunlight in her eyes. She stopped by the fence, looked at the horse, then at me. He's beautiful, she said. Does he have a name? Not yet, but I'm thinking about naming him Buck. She smiled. I like the way he moves. He's proud, high-headed, but in a grounded way. Kind of like you, I said, and she rolled her eyes, punching my arm playfully. I opened the gate, let the bay walk toward me. He came careful, nostrils flared, muscles tight. I lifted a hand slow and let him feel the air off my palm. He didn't pull away. He's gonna be good, I said. You're gonna make him good, she said, smiling. And she was right. I opened my eyes in the dark of the loft. 7 years since that day. Felt like 100, and somehow, tomorrow, I might be handing him over to a girl with braids and fire in her eyes. I closed my eyes again, not because I was tired, but because remembering too long starts to hurt.